Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers.
Good morning. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the morning show on Main Street TV. And look who we found. He came back.
I had to. I ran out of money.
Well, I'm just glad you didn't get arrested.
I didn't get arrested. I'm also glad I didn't get arrested.
Proud of you. I was waiting for that, midnight call.
Yeah. You got money. You can bail me out.
Uh-huh.
You've gotten that call from some of your
Yeah, I've
from a
definitely
cousin
gotten
or a
that
niece
call.
or something.
I've gotten that call numerous times.
Some of the employees.
But we won't talk about that here.
So
on
I
the
need
show.
what do you 10% to make bail?
Yeah,
I need
cash.
10%. I need some cash.
Well, let me see. Honey, did you make the deposit yesterday? No? Good. All right. We're good to go then.
JK, I wouldn't do that to you.
No, I'm just kidding.
I would if I had to.
Yeah, you could totally call me.
But I am back.
Yeah, welcome back. We missed our sweet James so much. And I know everyone else missed you. I missed you, but I know everyone else missed you because they had to, be here with me.
Porterhouse missed me. He yelled at me so loud when I got in my car this morning that it like echoed and I couldn't tell where he was. I was like, it was weird. It was cavernous. But yeah, so I spent the last several days in North Carolina.
Yes.
Great time. We did all kinds of cool things. We did some light mountain climbing. By that I mean
like you walked down a trail.
I walked down a trail. But it was a lot of fun. I told this story on the radio. We went to this place called Pinnacle Rock, which is this really cool rock formation in southern West Virginia.
Uh-huh.
And my girlfriend's mom, who's like an outdoorsy person, she's like a river rafting guide and stuff back in the day.
Oh.
So I guess she like scaled that like back in the 70s when she was, like in her 20s.
Yeah.
And so now it's just like they're just steps to the top.
Oh, so it used to be like an adventure and now it's like you just walk up it.
Well, you can still like, rappel it.
Yeah.
But there's also like steps that just take you to the top. And I was just like, well, that was easy. Like what was she bragging about?
I hope you didn't say that to her.
No.
Probably best. Not a
No.
good way to get in with the in-laws.
No. But it was really cool. It was really, really neat. We saw a lot of cool things. We went to a couple places that were your recommendation.
Uh-huh.
We went to Burial Brewery.
Yeah.
Which was one of your recommendations, and it was really fun. Like all of the beer names are like really like morbid and stuff.
Yeah.
So they were really funny. And it had all this like weird art, but like, the main focal point was this mural of Tom Selleck and Sloth from the Goonies. Like running a farm together.
Yes, to tell on ourselves, we showed your picture.
Oh, you did show the picture already?
Yes, we did, to prove proof of life.
Yeah.
That you were alive. Yeah. Yes. And Courtney told us not to, but we did it anyway. So Andy and I did it.
That's okay.
Andy goes, well, he put it on Facebook. It's fine.
Yeah.
And I was like, true. You put it out on Facebook. It's good to go. So did you like Burial though?
Yeah, it was fun.
Was it packed?
Well, we went on Wednesday, so it wasn't really that busy.
Okay.
It was like 9 o'clock on a Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
So like they had a low crowd, but it wasn't busy.
Wasn't crazy
They
busy.
had this old like Volkswagen that they'd like tore out and like turned it into like a booth. So we like sat in this old Volkswagen. Was really cool.
Neat.
Yeah, it was really neat. I mean, everything up there was really neat. We went to this like cool handmade like donut place in the morning. This lady was like so like enthusiastic. She like James, your donuts are coming. You're next on the list. She was like so pumped about everything. And there was this other couple was there waiting. She's like, "Are you Zoe?" And she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Zoe means life." And then she like pops back into the kitchen.
Did you ask her what kind of like what she drank in the morning, or
Yeah.
what kind of drugs did you take?
Yeah, she was real excited about it. Real excited about donuts. It was real good.
That's so
That
cute.
place was called Whole.
Just whole.
Just Whole. Everything in Asheville has like one word hipster.
Because they're all
names.
hippies and hipsters and
Yeah.
whatever. Like that's
Yeah.
Asheville for you.
And
old hippies too.
yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know.
this lady was. I mean, she wasn't like old. She's probably your age, but I mean, she wasn't a she wasn't a college student.
I'm not sure how to take that, but okay.
Well, I mean, I said she wasn't old.
I know. She's
She was
probably
an
your
adult.
age.
Nah, she's older than me. Then we went to this cool bakery, had all kinds of fancy like croissants and stuff.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's vegetarian, so she really wanted to go to this like super hipster vegan restaurant. It was called Plant. Just Plant. Just Plant. Because everything has one word hipster names in Asheville. It's just called Plant with a period.
No.
And so
That's the one that we said they're just going to bring out like a head of broccoli and
Yeah.
charge you $17 for
so
it.
the joke was we looked at the menu online. The first thing on the menu was just cauliflower. and it cost $12. I'm here to tell you that cauliflower was absolutely worth $12.
Really? Like,
It was
what was
so
it?
good.
I mean, what do you do with cauliflower?
I mean, it
to
just
make
had all these like seasonings and spices and stuff on it.
Was
and
it like broken up and like baked or sauteed?
Yeah,
or?
yeah. It was like covered in this like tahini sauce, and I mean, I
Oh,
think it was
cool.
baked. I don't think it was fried, but it was kind of crispy.
Uh-huh.
It was so good. It
Cool.
was so good. And then we had this like ravioli thing that was the ravioli was okay. It wasn't like the best. And then we had the main course was this I forget what it's called, but it wasn't tofu, but it was kind of like tofu. It was like a meat substitute
Yeah.
like that. And it was so freaking good. I mean, it
Awesome.
was kind of this like, glaze, kind of like what you might put on like pork chops or something like that. And it was on this like bed of mashed potatoes. And it had this like, kind of pickled cabbage thing on
Uh-huh.
top of it. It was so good.
Ooh, I'll have to check that
as hipster and kind of obnoxious as the place kind of seemed, like it was probably the best meal we had.
That's
Like, it was
awesome.
so good.
Good.
But we also went to this like Indian street food place. That was really good. They did like
Cool.
it was kind of like a gyro, but like they would wrap it with naan, which is like real thick, like Indian bread, kind of like a pita.
Uh-huh.
And that was really good. It was really, really
Cool.
good. Oh man, we had some good food. Where else did we eat? I feel like I'm forgetting one of the main places we went.
Asheville is so. The problem with Asheville
It's so
is
much.
yeah, like
It's
if you go
so
for a couple
much.
of days, you're just so disappointed that you can't
Yeah.
get to all the
There
places
are
that you
s-
want to go.
I understand why you like it. Literally every other building is a brewery in Nashville. Like it's insane. Like it is like a straight joke how many breweries there are in Nashville.
It's crazy.
Like there's so many. And, like we didn't have time to like. I mean, we had a few like local beers at like some of the restaurants and stuff that we went
Yeah.
in. And as we were leaving, we stopped at Trader Joe's and we bought a bunch of like canned beer
Uh-huh.
from like different North Carolina breweries.
So where
to
is
bring.
it?
Where's the beer?
Yeah.
Oh, it's gone. it didn't survive the weekend.
James, when you go places
I
and you get
did-
interesting
I did
beers, you're
not-
supposed to bring them back to Jen.
I did not do well with souvenirs on this trip. And then on like the last day before we left North Carolina, we did the tour of the Biltmore,
Yes.
which is like the big Vanderbilt mansion.
yes.
That place is bananas.
I've never been there, but I've heard just
it's crazy.
wild.
It's so crazy. I didn't really understand what it was because that's not necessarily something that I'm like interested in.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. Did you watch Downton Abbey?
No.
So Downton Abbey is about like the upper crusty, like rich people and like their man, like, you know, he's the lord of whatever.
Uh-huh.
And then like all the servants that like work the building and stuff like that. It basically like the Vanderbilts tried to like, this was their attempt to like bring that to America kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And so like it's this huge like, you know, Downton Abbey style mansion like in North Carolina, and they had, you know, a staff like that. I mean, it's just massive. And this was like, I don't know, it was built in like, I don't know, late 1880s or early 1900. I don't know. I'm forgetting the dates now. But like it's just so bananas because it's just like it's so decadent. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And like I know that like everything that's in there wasn't like there from the beginning. There were like generations that like lived there.
Okay,
So
I
I
was
know
going to
that it
ask you,
was
did they
like-
actually live there?
Yeah,
Like, okay.
yeah, they like actually lived there, and then like it passed down a few generations, and eventually it got to the point where there were like so many descendants that had like a say in it or whatever. It all like went into a trust, and then they like opened it as a museum, basically.
Gotcha.
But yeah, like I mean, people like lived there, and there was like a full-time staff that lived there, and you know, like George Vanderbilt's like up in his you know his private library and all this stuff, and down below there's like all these servants like making all these big decadent meals for all these like hoity-toity rich people and stuff. And it's just, I mean, it's just so crazy to think that like people lived like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially back then. Can you stay there?
So there's a whole bunch of hotels and stuff that are like part of it. I don't know that you can actually stay
Not within
in
the
Biltmore
house.
anymore. Yeah, but there's like all kinds of fancy lodging and stuff that's like part of the property.
Do they? I know they have a winery there.
Yeah, there's a winery.
Do they have like? Do you like take like a guided tour through it, or do you just walk through it? Or
So we did the basic thing.
like, I don't want to be here all day long. Like,
Yeah,
but it is there all day long.
yeah, it's so much. Like it's so much. Like it's so big. Like it's a mansion, and you tour the mansion, and then there are like acres of like gardens and stuff.
Oh,
And it's like the best view of like the mountains and stuff too.
gotcha.
So like it's just all right there. And I mean it is incredible. But
I hope you got pictures.
I do. So in true Asheville fashion, we had to be hipster about it.
Hipsters.
Oh, I haven't even gotten to the
Oh,
hip,
we'll
hip
get to
lady
Martha
part.
Washington here in a minute.
So we had to be hipsters, so we took off our pictures with film.
Yeah,
So I have to send my film away to get developed.
that's awesome.
But I mean, I do have some photos of it. See if I have a good one on my phone to show you. I didn't take very many photos of the Biltmore on my phone.
I know James always is taking pictures.
So this is the conservatory. So that's like a greenhouse.
Oh, it's the greenhouse.
It was super freaking fancy. So this is great.
Yeah.
So that's the view from like the back of the house.
Yeah. Okay.
So here, let me show you. I'll show this to the camera.
this is our high tech zoom here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't suck.
No.
That's wild.
So that's what the exterior looks like.
Aw.
Very cute.
You guys are cute too.
Thank you. But I mean, it's crazy. Like it's really, really crazy. So you do like an audio tour. So they give you a little like walkie-talkie thing,
Oh,
and
okay.
you just hold it up to your ear like a telephone. And like every room has a number, and you just type the number in, and they give you the.
Oh, it gives you, like, the
so there's,
spiel.
yeah, so it's not like a tour guide, so that kind of keeps it moving.
Gotcha.
Because there's so many people there, and
I'll
it's
bet.
expensive to go.
I was gonna say it is not cheap.
and it's not cheap to go.
I think
so-
that's why Jamie and I ended up like not going because we were
Yeah.
kind of in a hurry, like the day that we were gonna go, and
yeah,
we're like, we're not gonna go spend all that money and be in a hurry to
yeah.
go do it.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I do recommend you guys go down again. Like, take the time to do it.
Okay.
Because it's crazy, especially the outside part.
Mhm.
The house is kind of like, like it's a freaking old mansion.
Yeah.
If you've toured an old mansion
It's
before,
beautiful.
it's beautiful. It's stuffy. There's no air conditioning. There's no bathroom. But it's so cool. But I mean, it's just it just makes you think like, gosh, I can't believe like people live like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how much, what did you do and how much money do you have to live like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really crazy. But then, like I said, it's surrounded by all these like acres of gardens, and it's like so perfectly manicured. And, I mean, it's incredible, and it's got that beautiful view of the mountain. So that was really really awesome.
You wonder at the end of the day, though, as expensive as it is to look at, I'll bet you the upkeep of that thing outweighs
Oh, I can't imagine.
what they make in
Yeah.
revenue in tours.
Oh, I can't imagine. I mean, they have like Renoir and Monet paintings and stuff like on display there. I mean, like, the greatest artists like ever. Like, they have like all that original stuff, so they've got to do whatever you have to do to take care of things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's actual like gold in some of the paint and things like that.
Wow.
And it's all this antique furniture, and and there's just people through there all the time. So yeah, there's all that upkeep of the building. I mean, even though the tour is like automated, I mean, there's still tons of employees. There's all those restaurants, the hotels,
Gardens, all that
yeah,
stuff.
the gardens. I mean,
My
there were people
goodness.
out there working in the gardens when we were there, and they're just going
Edward
at it.
Scissorhands.
Yeah, just Edward Scissorhanding it. But yeah, it was really incredible, and it was worth
That's
it.
awesome.
I mean, I was like you. We kind of scoffed at how expensive it was to go,
Mhm.
and then we were kind of like, well, we came all the way
We're
down
here,
here.
like, we need
should
to go.
do it, and
Yeah.
we did not. We didn't regret it at
Good.
all. And then on the way back, we stopped in Bluefield, West Virginia,
Yes.
and stayed at a little bed and breakfast called the Bluefield Inn, where all of the rooms are like named after some like historical character. And we stayed in the Martha Washington suite. And this place was real weird. I mean, it was cool, but it was
So,
like weird.
You were showing me pictures, and I haven't talked to you since you actually
Yeah.
stayed there, but you were showing me pictures like ahead of time. And it's like the rooms looked really eerily creepy.
It was a very like antique. vibe.
Yeah, like
I mean,
old.
yeah.
But the outside of the place looked very like beautiful and
The outside was kind of like Southern plantation home kind of
Yeah.
vibe. Big white wooden like wraparound porch and stuff like that.
Mhm.
It was really neat. Their decor was kind of all over the place. There was like a little lounge that felt like a college like bachelor pad, and then there was like the porch was like this big like Southern plantation thing.
Yeah.
And then like in our room was like kind of that early like American like kind of felt like a museum, but it was just like this weird old house that they turned into this. And so this is how we knew that it was like weird.
So it was a bed and breakfast,
It wa-
right?
yeah, it was
Okay.
a bed and breakfast. So this as soon as we found out how weird it was, like as soon as we got there. So we get there kind of late because we did the Biltmore thing, and
Yeah.
it took like all day. So it was like 9 or 10 o'clock before we got there. And so the directions said like come around to the back, and like your door is open, just come right in. So we do that, and we drive up this super narrow driveway and get around to the back of the house.
Yeah.
And we see the door marked Martha Washington. We open the door, walk right into the bathroom. So the main door leads directly into the bathroom. So you open the door, and the first thing you see is the commode.
No. So you have to walk through the bathroom to get in the room.
Yeah.
No.
So that was pretty weird.
That is not hip.
No. And then this was probably kind of like a 50s era thing, but it had one of the weirdest bathtubs I'd ever seen. Like it was huge. It was like, as big as this desk probably. And it was like this weird pink color, and it had little like steps into it. And like the tub part was like in the middle, and like the drain was in the middle, but then the shower is like off to the side like it normally is. So that was weird. And then it had this, like old fashioned, like 4-post bed with a painting of Martha Washington next to it.
So I knew that there was Martha Washington painting in there because you
Yeah.
told me about that. But was she staring at you while you were sleeping?
No, yeah, kind of.
Okay, that's eerie too.
She definitely had kind of a Mona Lisa thing where like no matter what direction you're looking at it, it looks like it's looking at you. It definitely had that kind of vibe going on. Yeah.
I don't know about Martha Washington
Yeah,
staring
it was-
at me while I'm
Yeah,
sleeping.
it was interesting. But the absolute highlight of the Bluefield Inn
Yes.
were like I said, we got in there kind of late and we were pretty tired, been driving a few hours. And prior to that, we did all that walking around the Biltmore.
Yeah.
So we're sitting on the little back patio having some drinks and stuff. The biggest, fattest cat you've ever seen comes rocking up to us. And he just like says, like, you're my best friends now. I mean, this is the
You will adopt me tonight.
I mean, he's just the sweetest, just the fattest black cat you've ever seen. And we were just like getting such a kick out of this cat because it was so friendly and it was so fat. Like, it was so big. I took pictures. I do have pictures. I've got more pictures of the cat than I have of the Biltmore mansion.
I didn't really care about anything else other than this cat.
So here's how chunky the cat was.
Oh, he's so cute. Oh.
Right, so I'll show this on the camera real quick.
Little chunky monkey. Look at his butt. He looks like a groundhog sitting there.
He really did look like a groundhog. And then so the next morning we asked them, like, what's the cat's name? And like, his name's Porter. I was like, that is such a good name for that cat.
And for more ways than one.
Yeah, that cat looked like it had a porterhouse steak. But that was really fun. And then, they do the whole like breakfast thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And they made us this little fancy breakfast with like, fancy toast and, egg and all this stuff.
Do you get what they give you or do you get to pick?
You get what they give you. And it was good. It was like I said, it was like a fancy piece of toast with like greens, a big slice of cheddar cheese and ham and an egg on top of it. All dressed up fancy and everything.
All super fancy.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. The guy that was I don't think he was the owner. I think he just was like the caretaker kind of thing.
Yeah.
He did kind of give me the vibe of like a character from a Stephen King book a little bit.
I was wondering, like the mysterious caretaker. Is he your friend or not?
Yeah. I mean, he was really, really, really nice, but he did have kind of a Stephen King vibe to him.
He was mysterious.
Yeah. Like, isn't there like in Pet Sematary, there's like a gentle old farmer character next door that's like kind of creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was that sort of thing. I mean, not that I'm saying this guy was creepy. He was really nice, but he did.
You're like,
Yeah, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then we stopped at that Pinnacle Rock place on the way home from there.
Yeah,
which I already kind of told that story.
Yeah.
It was really, really another little beautiful view. We made it back and then just kind of died for. Until today.
Yeah. Where he had to come back to work and die.
But it was really, really fun.
Did you go to the carnival place?
No. Okay. So we tried to go to it's Shawnee Park Abandoned Amusement Park.
Yes.
So we were planning a stop there on the way back, but what we found out was you had to like make a reservation, and they would only take so many reservations a day. And there weren't any available.
Oh,
and
bummer.
So it was a bummer. That was a little bit of because we were under the impression that it was just something that was just there and you just stopped and looked at it.
Okay.
We didn't realize that it was like a thing that you had to like buy a ticket for and stuff like that. So we did miss out on that, which is a little bit of a bummer. But
I was really looking forward to hearing about that.
I was really excited
because I knew you were going to get some really cool pictures. I was
really excited about that too, but it's really not that far. It's only about 3 hours from here, so it's something that you could do again if you really, really wanted to. But it looks really funny. I know we looked at it on the show a little bit one day last week.
I mean, we did, but like seeing like your pictures, like someone has actually been there in real person, it would be really fun.
Yeah. So I was disappointed in that. I thought about calling them and being like, hey, like we're coming through. Like your thing says you don't have any reservations left. Like, are you not going to take our money?
Yeah.
But like we did all that other stuff and we were just kind of like, we're ready to get home.
Yeah.
Well, and we did have one other stop. Right before we got back, we stopped at the Tamarack Market.
Yeah.
I'd never been there before. That place is really neat.
I've actually never, like, I've stopped at the gas with all the 75,000 restaurants and stuff in it, but I've never actually gone to the market part.
It's really neat. So for those that don't know, it's like West Virginia, like artisan market.
Yeah. And I know you've driven by it. If you've gone anywhere south in West Virginia,
it looks like a big orange crown.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting building. and it's like inside is like a donut. Like you just walk in and it's just a big circle and you kind of loop all the way around.
Okay.
And it's really neat. It's like glass blowing and pottery and like
Oh, neat.
woodworking and stuff like that. But then it's also like gift shop, with like, little West Virginia trinkets.
I love
and
West
stuff
Virginia.
Like that. Yeah, stuff like that. But it was really neat. And it was really fun to walk around. It was really cool. And we ate at their, they've got a little restaurant, like food court in there. And
okay.
we had lunch there on the way back. And it was actually pretty good.
Good.
Yeah. So that was really a neat place. So that was kind of a fun little like chill final stop.
Did you buy a t-shirt that says "Welcome to Wild and Wonderful West Virginia"?
I didn't. I should have, because they actually had really good t-shirts, and I don't remember it off the top of my head, but there are a couple companies that are making these really fun like West Virginia like apparel right now with really funny, clever like pictures and sayings and stuff on it.
Yeah.
Like that. Like my girlfriend, there's one that had all these little had like possums and raccoons and all these kind of stuff like that. It was just little cute drawings, and they were singing Country Roads.
Oh.
And like she's like, that is the cutest thing I've ever seen. It's got this little possum and this little thought bubble, and it's like Mountain Mama. it's so funny, so cute. But they had a lot of that stuff, but I didn't. I kind of regretted not getting one because they were so fun. But yeah, so that was really neat too.
Good.
I recommend anyone that's not checked that out, you probably should.
So
especially if you're going through there.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely a great place. It's a great place. You can stop, get gas. You can eat. You can, it's a good place to stop. When you were in Asheville, did you do any shopping there? Did you go to any of the fun little shops?
Yeah, we went to some. We went to a thrift store. Sorry. We went to a few like antique thrift store kind of places. I don't wish I could remember the names of them off the top of my head. But one of them was, here it is. It is the Sweeten Creek Antiques. And the reason we stopped there was because it had, hold on.
Is it something you can show on the air?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the reason we stopped there, this caught our attention. It had this giant chicken on the side of the building.
That is fantastic. I love that. That's very Asheville. Yeah. Very artsy.
So, like, maybe you know the answer to this. It seemed like every building in Asheville has a mural on the side of it.
It's just very artsy.
Yeah. I mean, but like every single building has a mural on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool, but it's like every single building has one.
I think it's just because there's such an art community down there, and it's just part of their culture.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. But that place was cool. That place was huge. We freaking wore ourselves out walking through that place. And then we stopped at a few other like just kind of like odds and end places. Like we had kind of a long wait for a table a couple times, and we did a little bit of walking around and just kind of popped our head in a few places. But we really didn't go in that many shops. Trying to think if there's anything else that was like particularly memorable. Yeah.
Did they have any people like out on the street selling stuff that they make, or?
Not really. We did get. I'm afraid I ruined this picture because again, we were taking pictures of the film.
With film.
But there's this there. So
in hindsight, that might not have been the best idea. But
well,
if they turn out, it'll
be cool. And if they don't turn out, then I remember. But there in this area. This was I don't really know the streets. I apologize, but there were a lot of like street performers and stuff like that. And this one dude was on like he had like a skateboard or something on like a bucket, and he's like balancing on that, and he's got his dog sitting on his shoulders, and he's juggling.
All right. Well, did you throw him $1 or what?
So
well deserved.
So before we left, my girlfriend was like, she's got all these different purses and stuff like that. So she's like going through all these different purses and wallets and stuff she had, like finding all the loose money she has to bring with her, and she found a bunch of $2 bills.
Aw.
And I was like, that guy's so weird. He deserves a $2 bill.
For sure.
So we tipped that guy a $2 bill.
Nice. Love it.
So I thought that was appropriate.
Very appropriate.
He was weird. But yeah, that was probably the most memorable thing like that. There's this one place we went into that had just like a billion freaking like wind chimes outside.
Yeah.
It's just like absurd amount of wind chimes, and like everybody was like taking their pictures with them and stuff because it was like so much.
Really a lot.
Yeah, it was really a lot. And so we went in there and it was just like weird knickknacks and stuff like that. Lots of weird knickknacks, funny shirts and mugs and
cool.
Like that. Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Good.
It was a really nice trip.
Good.
Really nice to get away for a little while. I didn't even talk about where we stayed.
I was getting so my next question is gonna say, you stayed in a yurt.
We stayed in a yurt.
In a yurt.
So if you're not familiar, basically it was like a small like studio apartment cabin, but like instead of like wooden walls, it's like a canvas wall.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was so cool. It was like on the side of one of the mountains. It was pretty secluded. You had to go up a pretty crappy gravel road to get there.
Yeah.
But like honestly, some of the just regular roads around here aren't much better.
Right. It wasn't all that different from here.
It wasn't that. I mean, it kept going a little bit longer, maybe, but it wasn't that much worse than some of the roads around here.
If you want to feel at home, you go down to the Carolinas, who's basically the same. Yeah. So the yurt, was it? So yeah, they're like round, right? And then they have like canvas walls and roof and whatever. But
I know I've got a good picture of the inside of it. I don't know if I really took a good picture of the outside.
But did it have all the amenities, like a bathroom in it and like
it did
kitchen and all that?
It did. It had well water, which we weren't crazy about.
Yeah.
But other than that,
did it smell like eggs?
No, it didn't really smell bad. But the water wasn't very pretty.
Okay.
Okay. Here's what the inside looked like. Oh.
Yeah, that's super cool.
It's
Look at
really
the roof
cool.
of the thing.
Yeah, so it's got kind of like a sunroof.
That's neat. Look at that. How cool that is.
So it was basically, like I said, it was basically like a studio apartment. And then it had like a deck with like a private hot tub.
Oh, you had a hot tub.
Private hot tub.
Oh, we'll talk about those stories later or not.
But it was really, really nice. We really enjoyed it. There was a giant spider on one of the doors, so we only used one door.
This is your door. We have our door.
So we didn't.
This is your domain.
So there were a few times where we would have liked to have opened all of the doors to get airflow, but the big giant spider prevented us from doing that. We just let him be. But it was seriously really, really cool. And so the yurt was part of the Wayward Moose Lodge, which is really fun to say.
I love
So
that.
as you're climbing up the side of this gravel road up this mountain, you're seeing there's all these forks in the road, and we're following the sign with the moose on it. And it makes me think of vacation going to Wally World. And then so the yurt was really close to one of the hiking trails, and this was like the part of the Blue Ridge Parkway, which is like this trail that goes like hundreds of miles and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was close to this place called the Overhang. Oh, here, I gotta show you this. Okay, so the yurt was like up kind of in a country-y place, but like if you went down to got down to the paved road,
down to the road.
there were all these really fancy houses. How would you like to live there?
Oh yeah, that would be okay. Have that as your view every day?
Yeah, so we had to drive past that place to get to the yurt.
That's why Asheville is so gorgeous. It's because not only do you have like the landscape that you have here, which is absolutely beautiful, but then it's set right. You have the mountains setting behind you all the time too.
Yeah, it was really cool. So we were really close to this hiking trail, which led to this section called the Overlook, and it was really fantastic view. So here's what that looked like.
Oh wow.
And so that was just a little like 20-minute hike from where we were staying.
When he says he was mountain climbing, that's where he was going, but we're just going to say it was hiking. That is beautiful.
Okay, and so when we So when we went there, this was kind of funny.
Did you see any bears?
That's what I'm getting to. So right before we did that hike, we were coming back from like dinner or something like that, and my girlfriend was like, "I just saw a bear." So,
And you're like, "Shut
I
up."
missed it. So she saw a bear like eating some dude's trash, just like on the side of the highway, and I missed it. I was like, "Oh, that's crazy." And so we go back and we're getting ready to go do this hike, and like the trail's not very well marked because I guess they're not allowed to build a trail to the trail.
Okay,
And,
makes sense.
yeah,
To mess
and-
up the
Yeah,
wildlife. or
yeah,
the-
I don't know. So like we were having a little bit of trouble finding the part of the trail that wasn't really the trail to get to the trail. You know what I mean?
Heard, yeah.
And so the lady, she must have been one of the owners or whatever of the lodge, and she was there cleaning one of the cabins. And we asked her like, "Oh, where we go?" You blah 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 blah. And she's like, "Watch out for bear. We've been seeing them recently." I was like, "Well, we just saw one eating garbage down the street." She's like, "You didn't see one around here, did you?" I'm like, "Oh, no, it was down the street a little bit." She's like, "Yeah, I've seen a few of them recently." We're like, "Oh,
Or-
okay."
Maybe we should just go back and drink some of that beer
Yeah,
from the Trader
so I was
Joe's.
like, everyone- yeah. And then so we walk out there and we start doing this trail. And then here comes this older guy the other way. And he's got like all these jingle bells on him.
No.
Which is like, to make yourself known so that you don't like accidentally startle a bear or whatever. And at this point, I'm like, should we actually be worried about bears? I was like, what?
Is this really a thing?
Like, is-
We thought it
like-
was a joke.
Yeah, like, is it really an issue? Like, should we actually be concerned that there's gonna be a bunch of bears out here? I was like, what do we do? Like, should I
Oh,
like get on
no.
YouTube and try to find some jingle bell sounds like that guy had? Like, well, like, what do we do if we do come across the bear?
I don't know.
I'm like, so I mean, and no bears.
That's
But-
good. Well, I mean, if you would listen to what Ted said when he was here, Ted Witham, he
Yeah.
said to make yourself big.
Yeah, make yourself
You
big.
make yourself really big and you say, "Whoa, bear."
Whoa, bear. But yeah, I was just like, is this actually something we need to be concerned about? Like, are there a bunch of bears out here?
What would you have done?
I don't know. Made myself big.
Whoa, bear.
Slowly walk back down the trail. I don't know. But like that place was funny because I mean you can't really tell from that photo, but the overhang there. I mean, that's right on the highway. Like the highway is like right there. But like you feel
Oh.
like you're out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
And there's actually a parking lot right there too. So you could just drive right up to that little cliff
Oh.
park and just like climb right up to it. But you feel like you're on top of a mountain.
That's cheating.
I know. We didn't do that. We didn't hike very far, but we had to hike a little bit. But yeah, it's so weird because it follows the highway that.
That is cool, though.
Oh, shoot, I had the name a second ago. Blue Ridge Parkway.
Yep.
So like it just the trail follows the road basically. So I don't know. It was really interesting, but it was gorgeous. It was so pretty.
Good. That's one thing I could tell you about the Carolinas is they're
Mhm.
just, oh my gosh.
It's so
It is
pretty.
so pretty.
And like I mean,
And people are so nice.
Southern West Virginia is just as pretty too.
Yeah.
And then you get to drive through Tennessee,
Hmm.
which is just like wow. We drove through Bristol, Tennessee. That's an interesting place
Hmm.
because like the Bristol Motor Speedway is there.
Yes.
Which is like one of the biggest sports venues in the country.
Hmm.
And then like it's like a block away from like a trailer park.
It's like, that's it.
Yeah. It's like I don't know. It's this weird kind of like this huge like decadent thing, and then like all these like pretty low income housing and stuff like that, just kind of like right
Weird.
next to each other.
Yeah.
But it was also like a lot of cool stuff there. But that was a really interesting kind of drive through there. The cool thing about Tennessee is there is a handful of places where you can pull off the highway where they've built a little park in a spot that's like particularly pretty view.
Hmm.
And we stopped at a few of those. And on the way back, we stopped at one. And it must have just rained and like the sun had come out and it was all like foggy and stuff. And you could see the fog
Ooh.
like lifting up over the mountains. I'll see if I have a picture of that because it was so pretty. Give me a second. Let's see if I can find it. It is so pretty.
Yeah, you're not at a lack for
Yeah, there's no
pretty views when you're traveling down that in
mm-mm.
that neck of the
No,
woods for
it
sure.
was really gorgeous.
Did you see the orange peel?
I did see the orange peel. We did not go. We talked about it. We definitely did not have energy to do anything like that. So so this was the view of the mountains in Tennessee.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
with, like,
that's really pretty. I like that you stopped to smell the roses on your trip. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That
and
you
they make it
took
easy
time to stop and
and they make it easy to do that because, like, I mean, there's this market right there on the highway.
yeah.
They're
like
stop,
pull over here.
pull over here.
There's
it's
a real pretty view.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was really cool. But yeah, we did see the orange peel, and we looked at the list, and there was a couple shows there while we were there. We
Mhm.
thought about going, but it just, the first night we went to Burial, and then the second night we just kind of like hung out and relaxed, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then that was really the only 2 nights we were there, so we
Yeah.
didn't really have time to do a concert.
And that's the thing, man. It's like you almost need. I want to go down there for 2 weeks and
Yeah,
like
well, the reason-
schedule it all
Yeah.
out. 'cause-
Well, like the reason we were only stayed the 2 nights there in North Carolina is those were the only 2 nights that were available for those yurts.
yeah,
Like
That was it.
Yeah, that was it. Like you couldn't stay a whole week.
yeah,
The reason we went in the middle of the week was because you couldn't get a weekend.
right.
If you want to do a week there, you gotta plan a year and a
Plan
half.
a year in advance.
Yeah, you gotta plan a long time in advance.
Well, if there's anything that's come out of COVID, it is getting people to, places like Hocking Hills, Asheville,
Yeah.
out and
Yeah.
I guess enjoying nature and that
Mhm.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
More so
Yeah.
than being in a busy
yeah.
hubbub of stuff.
Yeah, I will say seeing those little yurts, it makes you think like, man, like, stick something like that out at like Hammertown or Lake Jackson or
Mhm.
someplace like that. Like, I mean, that's
Really cool.
That would be a really good idea for somebody that had
That didn't wimp out to buy a campground.
that didn't whip out at the auction for a campground. Not pointing fingers.
We never talked about that.
No.
That's the auction of which we will never mention again. That we will not discuss here on Main Street TV.
But it would be really cool because it wasn't that big.
Yeah.
And those things can't be that hard to build. I kind of got the impression that you could probably buy like a kit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just everything you need. You just need to hire some dudes to put it together.
Yeah. I just don't know. And that's like one of those things where if you did one,
Yeah.
then you'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
I know what I messed up, or I
Yeah.
know what I should have done different,
Mhm.
or whatever. And then you would learn
Yeah.
from it. And then,
Yeah.
like, the more you did, it
Yeah.
would get easier.
Yeah. So like the area we were at, there were 3 yurts and then like a smaller cabin and a big cabin. That was like a lodge.
So is someone that stays in a yurt like a yurtee or a yurter?
We
I
were
was
calling
yurting.
ourselves yurt people.
Yurt people?
Yeah.
I was yurting today.
Yeah. And then the well water. So the directions to get up there, at one point he says, like, when you come to the pond, turn right. Well, the pond was just
rock with the green moss on
Yeah.
it.
Well, dude, this dude's directions were like next level country directions. But the pond was just a freaking mud puddle.
Oh.
It was so funny. And then so we were joking that the water was coming from that pond. And we were calling ourselves pond people because we were having to bathe in the pond water.
Ew.
I mean, it wasn't that bad, but like I wouldn't drink it. You know what I mean? Like it was fine for like, washing your hands or whatever. But I wouldn't. We went and went to the grocery store and bought a couple gallons of fresh water.
Probably a good
Yeah.
idea, yeah.
Use that for consuming.
Yeah.
But yeah, this dude's directions were like next level. And it's just like, dude, like
When you pass the rock that looks like an elephant.
yeah. Like
Not an ostrich, an elephant. Turn
like,
right.
Hold on. I don't think I should try to read them because they're like so bonkers. But I'll show it to you. So like all this is his directions.
Oh my god, it's like that long. Oh
Yeah, I mean it's like go 1.4 miles and you will come to a large intersection with a traffic light. On the left, will be a shopping center with an Ingles, Pepperonis, and McDonald's. On your right will be Dollar Tree and Otine VA Hospital. Yeah. Turn right at Dollar General. Go up Upper Grassy Road. Turn to blah blah. And it's just like there was a gas station right next to the turnoff. All you could just say was like, give us like the GPS address for that gas
to the
station.
gas station, and then go
and
from
then
there.
say go up the gravel road and follow the signs.
Maybe
Like
he's
that's
just,
all he needed to say.
Maybe he's old school and they had all those directions before GPS was a thing.
Yeah, and there's one part here. Let's see if I can find it. I do not recommend using GPS as it will get you lost, which is true. We did get lost one night coming back. But yeah, it's just like,
That's funny.
yeah, you could have just given us the address of that gas station and told us that the road was right there.
Yeah, right.
And then follow the signs because it was real obvious.
Exactly.
But yeah, it was funny. And we only got mixed up once, and we only got mixed up because it was dark, and it only took a second to figure it out. I did panic for a second because it was real dark.
Yeah. Well, that is
When
one thing. You're out in the wilderness.
When you're out in the country, there's not much light.
There's not a lot of light.
Not a lot of
If
light.
there are any stars, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Oh, the stars were freaking
Really
beautiful.
pretty?
Oh my gosh, it was so clear. The first night we were out there,
Aw.
it was really pretty.
Did you lay under the stars and cuddle?
Well, I mean, we definitely went outside and did like that.
Okay.
Hold on. I did get a pretty good picture of it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah.
That is really pretty.
It was really pretty.
Yeah.
I don't know if this will show up very well.
I don't know if it does or not. Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah. It's kind of nice to see the stars, isn't it?
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was really, really cool time. We had a lot of fun.
Good.
I'm glad that y'all carried on without me. Did I miss anything exciting last week?
You missed the Jazz and Jambalaya.
I did miss that.
That was fun.
I hated to miss out on that.
It was fun. I mean, just our daily routine. So I
Yeah.
guess probably not so much. But I do want to give a shout out to Andy, our sweet Andy, and Jeremiah and Courtney, because they kicked butt and pushed all the right buttons. So Courtney had to run the show that the one day that Kaya came in and we talked about skincare. And Kaya, I had forgotten to email all the pictures that Kaya had sent me. So Courtney had to do that on the fly. So she was about ready to kill me.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you missed about facials and
I did see the
bikini
photos.
waxing.
I didn't see any bikini waxing photos, but I saw the eyebrows.
So I don't know whether I should talk about this or not, because it surprised me so much that I was just like, so
If you
I'm
don't
going to
know whether or not you should talk about it, maybe you shouldn't talk about it.
well, but it's a thing.
Okay.
So I run into Kaya a couple days later after the show out on the street, and I was just like, "Hey, you did a great job. That was so much fun talking about skincare." I said, "You've been working?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "What you been doing today?" She said, "Oh, some waxing, and I did a vajacial." That's all I'm going to say about that. I said, "Did you say vajacial?" And she said, "Yes, I did." And I said, "Why didn't you bring that up on the show?" She said, "I forgot." Okay.
So Oak Hill's hired a new superintendent.
So evidently that's a thing. If you didn't know, you do now. Thank God our little new intern's here today.
Yep. Thanks, Dylan. Hey,
Dylan,
Dylan's sitting back.
No, we're not even
shout
gonna
out to
ask him.
Dylan, our new. So what did you call it again? Summer first period late arrival.
Yeah, senior late arrival.
Senior late arrival release, which means if he gets a job, he doesn't have to go to school until after lunch, right? Yeah.
Now that is the jam.
Yeah. So Dylan's been sitting back there today,
has been.
kind of bored. So I want to give him something to do.
Yes.
So this is courtesy of multimedia journalist Jeremiah Shaver.
Yes.
All right. So Oak Hill has
And I did
hired.
say he did good too, right? I know
mean,
I
you don't have to
mentioned Andy.
lie.
I mentioned Andy. I mentioned Courtney, and Jeremiah killed it too.
He did,
and
what
put
did
up
he
with
kill? Jeremiah,
Pushing the
did you
buttons.
kill my buttons? No. So this was at the most recent Oak Hill School Board meeting. So of course, Marcy Shepard resigned a couple
Yes,
weeks
the
ago
superintendent.
as Oak Hill superintendent, and Oak Hill has hired a new interim superintendent. This is James Mantell. And so Jeremiah chatted with him at the school board
Oh,
meeting the other
Good.
night.
Okay.
And so Dylan, in there, you should see a slide that says new video, James Mantell. If you want to click on that little icon, we will listen to that video. Think you can figure it out?
Doing my best.
It's on the right-hand side. It's about, or sorry, left-hand side. My right.
He's
You're-
looking.
Matson,
James Mantell.
Jason Mant.
Well, he wrote James Mantell on this, so he may have written it wrong on there.
Like a little video.
Yes.
Okay, I'll put it. I hope that-
If not, we're gonna see some.
Okay. Jeremiah, I appreciate the opportunity. Jason Mantell, recently hired superintendent at Oak Hill Union Local School District. Just most recently, the last 2 years, I've been the executive director at Scioto County Children's Services, and prior to those 2 years, I spent 20 years in public education. I worked at an educational service center. I was a teacher for 12 years and a building and district level administrator for 6. Also a head football coach, head track coach, athletic director. So I've covered just about everything in the public school system with the exception of superintendent. So I'm very grateful for this opportunity and really looking forward. It's a late start, but I'm really, really excited about what the year is going to bring. We're also bringing in several new employees to the district, and I'm getting the opportunity to meet people this week. So just really got an opportunity to begin this past Monday, and still working my way through and meeting different people. I have been married to my wife, Lindsay, for several years now. She's originally from Wellston, which is where we met. We have 3 children, Kate, who is 16, Braden, who is 15, and Mia, who is 11. And they were all gracious enough to join us this evening at the board meeting. So again, we're really looking forward to supporting the community and being very involved in the district and the community.
All right. Well, thank you, Jeremiah. We still do
Welcome.
not know if that gentleman's name is James or Jason.
It said
But-
Jason on the video, so let's go with that.
Okay. Well, we have some crack reporters here. We'll get to the bottom of it. But that was from the August 17th meeting at the Oak Hill Board of Education.
Yeah.
And we have a
and-
note here. It says he's interested in coming on the show.
Oh, well, very good.
Yeah.
Well, and it would be interesting to see. I know that they say an interim,
Mhm.
an interim position, but will that lead on to a full time
I don't know.
position?
We'll find out, I guess.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
we'll find out, and that would be tough to come in just to do a short stint as a superintendent.
It would.
be really
Yeah.
tough.
It would.
Oh,
I mean,
by the way, here's our whole school district,
Mhm.
and run it and go.
yeah. Yeah. Well,
Surprise!
yeah. Well, Mary Ann Hill, was that her name?
Yeah.
That just did it in Wellston.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, they're experienced people that are ready up to that task.
Yeah, and if that's your jam and you definitely know what you're doing, that would probably not be as hard as what you and I think it is. Well, I mean, I'm sure it's very hard,
don't
but
know.
like,
Yeah. My dad, he got qualified to be a superintendent, but he never
Never
took
did it.
that, never took that
speaking
road.
of your mom and
You
dad,
saw him at the Marquee Saturday night.
I did. They are so cute.
So I've been told.
They are adorable. So I ran into them out at the airport on
oh yeah, that's true.
and I was like, "You guys are just everywhere. You are adorable." And they said, "Your mom said we try."
That's funny. Yeah, I know they had a good time. So did
So
you,
yeah, they came to the jazz.
So
Jambalaya.
did you go into the show, or did you just hang out at the outside part?
So during the day, they had the beer garden outside
Mhm.
and the food and all that. And then they had the entertainment was actually outside during the
Mhm.
day. So by the time it came around, because we had just been running all day
Yeah.
long, we did not go to the indoor
Mhm.
concert, but did talk to some of the musicians. They may or may not have snuck out the back door and snagged a beer.
Yeah.
Snagged a beer. may or may not
May
have.
not. May,
So I
may
got
not
to
have.
meet some of them,
That's
and
cool.
they were very excited about
Yeah.
getting to play. And
So did the food and drink and all that go well? Was it a
yeah,
nice
we ran
crowd?
out of beer,
Was
so
it a nice day?
it was beautiful. It was
Yeah.
very hot, but very beautiful.
Good.
Yeah, a very, very pretty
I
day.
know. So you said it was very hot. I was aware that there was a lot of frantically looking for tents right before that started. Was the heat the reason for that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Luckily, I mean, we have the very awesome Sixth Sense tent that Zip did.
hmm
And so we were actually dispensing the beer out of the Thirsty Truckster. The cute
I've never
little,
seen that before. So is that somebody local that has that?
It's new. Yeah.
Okay.
And new little business in town. So check them out on Facebook. So cute. So they were actually pouring our beer for us,
Yeah.
but we ran and got our tent and kind of put it over top of
Uh huh.
the vehicle, and then that way it shaded everything. So
Cool.
yeah, that was a godsend, that
Mhm.
tent. And it's so nice. So
Mhm.
if you need a professionally done tent, please call Zip, and they'll get you hooked up, because
Yeah.
it's amazing.
hmm Yeah, those canopy tents are big right now. Everybody's got those.
Yeah, and the ones that Zip, like the one they did for us,
hmm
it's not like I'm not knocking anything, but it's not like the one that you go to the big box store and get, like
Mhm.
where the posts are super thin and they bend and whatever.
Mhm.
I mean, this thing is
Yeah,
like,
it's sturdy.
well,
And-
you better watch out
yeah.
too, because if it falls on you, it's going to
Yeah.
pinch you pretty good.
well, and the one you have is aluminum, right?
I don't know.
And there's also
I think it might be steel because it's heavy,
yeah,
but it
so
could be aluminum.
maybe it is. I don't know. There's another option. I don't think it's carbon. I don't know. There's another option. It's more expensive, but it's way lighter.
Oh,
so
okay.
so if you're worried about it being heavy, which I mean those are sturdy, but like one person could put it up. I mean, it's a lot easier for two
If it
people
was
to
life
do
or
it.
death, yes. But
Yeah.
it would be easier for
Um,
two.
But they do have some options, and of course, completely customized canopy, whatever.
Absolutely. You want a
on it.
backdrop cool, if you
Yeah,
want
you can do
table
sides and stuff,
skirts,
too.
cool sides, whatever you want on your
Yeah, you
tent.
can do it all.
Very professional and just very good quality.
Yeah.
So looks very nice. So, but yeah, we were able to do that, and they had some vendors down on the street, which was really cool.
Did you pick up anything?
No,
Yeah.
I
Anything
didn't.
catch your eye that you regret not picking up?
yeah, massage. They had a
Yeah,
girl
I
set up with
would-
a massage table.
I would. Yeah. I don't think I could have said no to that.
But no, I mostly just ran my mouth. I know you're going to find that hard to believe.
What?
Yeah. It was so ironic, though. It's like funny how things happen. So Jamie and I had to run back and forth to the brewery several times. And then we had a repairman who was supposed to show up at our house between 6 and 8 o'clock, who showed up at 3. So that like really screwed up our day, because we had to run home, let him in, stay with him while he repaired something, whatever. So we were just like all over the place. But we had to go back and forth to the brewery a couple times. And it was just so neat. We walked in, and one of his college baseball teammates was in the brewery eating with his family, and they were down. The kids were playing soccer. His kids were playing soccer here.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh. So that was really neat that they got to see each other. And it's just kind of fun how that whole thing
Yeah.
works. Like, so, because he had told him, he's like, I'm going to be in town, but he didn't say he was coming in.
Yeah.
He just said, I'm going to be in town. So we
Cool.
ran into them. That was really neat.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Well, I hated
It was a
to-
fun
yeah.
day.
Oh, I hated to miss Jazz and Jambalaya, but this Saturday is Evening with the Arts.
Evening with the
An
Arts.
all-day concert fundraiser auction.
That's right. There's going to be a whole lot going on all day long. I think the music starts maybe at 3 with Colby Likens, goes on through the day, art auction. Again, food, drinks, all that fun stuff will be there. So, and it's how novel is this? It's going to actually be held at the Marquee.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
It's like
cool.
we've always had all these fundraisers for the Marquee that haven't been at the Marquee.
Yeah. Yeah. They're
So-
they're doing it differently this year, so hopefully it's successful.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of a bumpy transition, and I know having two big events like that, like on back-to-back
Back-to-back,
weekends,
yeah.
is always a challenge, but
Sure.
it should be a lot of fun. And like it's like basically all afternoon, from like 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So come and go as you please.
That's right.
Check it out. See what acts appeal to you that you think you definitely want to be there for that kind of thing.
You
I'm
got it.
excited for Paul Brown's.
Oh, I
Cowboy
know the
Poetry.
cowboy poetry.
We should try and get him to come in one day this week.
We should.
That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be a
really good.
blast.
Yeah.
Get
So
them to talk.
it's 10 o'clock. We did it.
We did it.
We did it. We filled the time. We
blabbed.
gabbed.
So we were supposed to have a guest today. Guest had something come up, so we will reschedule him. He's actually contacted me as we're sitting here talking, and that's perfectly fine. And we will get that
Yeah.
rescheduled because it'll
Yes.
be a really cool guest.
Yes, it is. Very exciting.
So yeah. So well, I'm so glad you're back. We missed you.
It's good to be back. If I keep saying that, will I start to believe it?
We're like, we missed you, James. He's like,
I could use another week. Nah, it is good to be back. I was joking today. So I live next to the high
you
school.
know, you missed some of this.
I did. So I live next to the high school. So I heard the school buses going by this
Yeah.
morning, and I'm like getting ready, and I haven't been here for 12 days or whatever. It's like, I feel like it's the first day of school. I feel like I said that to Andy, and he's like, "Did you get a new backpack?"
Did you get a pencil box?
Yeah.
Oh shoot! Did you get the 64 pack of Crayola with the sharpener?
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome, Dylan. So nice to have
Yes,
you
thank you,
here,
Dylan.
and we'll get him on the show here at some
Yeah.
point and make him blab as well.
Yeah. And so, Dylan, I got a job for you. There's a little button there on the your little preview window that says end stream. If you move your cursor over where you see the video of a finish stream, click that, and then it's going to pop up another little button that says end or something like that. And click it again, and we're going to get out of here.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.